that we should know that through whom you are making it, right? So before jumping on our section, I want to know our audience as well. So can you please raise the hand? How many of you are from the Agentic AI solution provider? Great. I was thinking everyone. So good. I asked that question. And how many have experience of deploying a successful production-ready agentic solution? So the hands have reduced. And how many of you are from the enterprise, from the business side? Great. Good. So we will not speak only the tech or the AI language because many of you are not from that. Okay? So if I would speaking only the AI language, I can see only the 30% of the people probably would have absorbed my content. I'll try to speak the business language as well and deliver the story of the business so that we can see how AI can move. So as our topic today is that how we can move from prototype to the production, we'll try to cover what are the key characteristics of a prototype solution, how these characteristics with respect to the data quality, from the single users or two users application to the multiple thousand users, concurrent users, and how the other layers when it comes to the production with respect to the governance, compliance, observability, LLM models get added when you change to the production. So we'll cover that, what are the key difference, what are the gap, how we can fill up the gap, and then we will also cover a case study that how if you go from the production ready solution successful, it can really create an impact into the business. So most of the content from the business side as well. So probably, and we'll also try to not to repeat because a lot of content has been given beautifully by the 𝗖𝗢𝗡 and Seema. So we'll try not to repeat and bore you guys, but please enjoy the section.
Thank you, Seema. Hi everyone, am I audible? Okay. In the interest of time, we'll keep this quick. I know probably us and probably one or two sessions are between you and your lunch. So we'll keep this quick. Can we move on to the next slide? Okay, yeah. Audience we have, none of these should be a surprise. Let's start with visualization, the core traditional analytics. So all of us have built dashboards, all of us have built visualizations, analysis frameworks during our course of experience. Now what has changed with Agentic AI? It has really helped move the needle to make these dashboards, make these visualization tools, business intelligence tools, be from being reactive to being proactive. This really means that, so practically speaking, when you build a dashboard, you can build so many visuals, so many charts, like they're still limited in number. But in real life, when you have to drive some insights out of these solutions, these tools, you end up, what do? You download the data, you probably rejig the visualization to suit your need to that specific problem that you're trying to solve for. And no dashboard, no static dashboard can create unlimited visualization. So Agentic AI is actually helping us move beyond that needle and build custom visuals, custom insights, custom charts based on what we need at that point of time. Going beyond that, it is helping us do full root cause analysis. These things would take a lot of time being done manually. You'll have to do multiple filters, multiple selections here and there, probably put that data in Excel and again do that manually. But with Agentic AI, we have actually removed that step, that manual step completely and do that entire end-to-end analysis in that Agentic tool itself, and in a form which you can then take out and present to your stakeholders. Similarly, on the data science side, I won't go through all the topics, but I just want to talk about one key element. There has always been a trade-off between accuracy and speed of development. The trade-off will always be there. But I think with Agentic AI, we have been able to shift the baseline of what the sweet spot will be between managing accuracy and the speed of development. Moving on, just doing a quick summary of how an enterprise should think about building a prototype. I think in the last two sessions, we heard multiple numbers, but mostly tending towards greater than 80%. So 80% projects fail, 90% projects don't make it to production. Why is that the case? It's probably because I think 𝗖𝗢𝗡𝗖𝗟𝗔𝗩𝗘 spoke about it in the previous session. Mostly the organizations, as agentic AI or AI, generative AI is the buzzword, they're trying to implement it across many, many use cases. They're trying to implement it everywhere. So if we think about traditional analytics, right, like dashboards, you build one general dashboard based on, let's say, one enterprise level data set, and then you solve multiple use cases with that. Agentic solutions effectively don't work that way. You have to build specialized tools. You have to build specialized training to make them effective. So when you build a prototype, you clearly define your goal. You pick one narrow use case. You don't need to solve for the world. Pick one small narrow use case which is easy to achieve in a short cycle time. Even if you fail fast and you move on to the next narrow case. And from there you make a case to get the budgets, to get the approvals, to move that into production. What this also means is the areas of focus on the data architecture side at the prototype stage is probably ensuring that when we get to production, the integrations, the pipelining, the automation is feasible. But at the stage of prototype, you don't really need to worry about implementing all of that. And at the end, during the prototype phase, it is very, very critical. So prototype will be successful, will only make way to production if your end users were able to get some value out of it. So always involve your end users, your stakeholders in the process of getting feedback. Clearly define what the evaluation criteria is, make it time bound. Otherwise, this becomes an academic exercise. And get the regular feedback, make them involved, make them part of the process for you to drive. If the adoption of prototype is good, adoption of production system will also mimic the same. Moving on, I'll not speak in detail because we have a use case through which we'll cover this in much more specific, real practical example. But just giving a high level summary here. When, let's say your prototype is successful, now you have the leadership approval, you want to move to production. Now what are the things you need to now worry about? So all the things where you did a basic discovery, now is the time when you implement it. So first one is evaluation criteria. So you brought in your stakeholders into the loop during the prototype phase. Give utmost importance to the feedback, the comments, the inputs that you received. And that should be the basis of building a strong evaluation criteria to drive adoption. The next part is infrastructure. So this is the time now when you start building the real infrastructure, the pipelining, alerting, proactive monitoring, and the most important aspect about infrastructure, which essentially talks about feedback, system integration, and ultimately drive adoption, is your infrastructure should be able to integrate with existing systems in the organization. It is very hard for an organization for you to drive senior stakeholders to move to a new tool. The adoption and the usability of the solution becomes immensely easy if your tool, your solution can integrate with what they're already using. So with that, I hand it over to Seema to walk us through a practical use case where we see this in action. Yeah.
Sure.
So I'll just cover one of the examples that how we can help from the retail business and using the merchandise assistant. So what happened into the retail business, right? No matter how well you plan in the season or during your planning cycle, but because of your competitive landscape, because of the marketing dynamics, because of your consumer behavior changes, because of your supply chain deviations, there would be deviation against the plan. So the crux is not to get the accuracy into the your modeling, right? Your demand forecasting more accuracy and all, but the competitive advantage retailer will get who can have agility into the decision, how fast and precisely they can act onto those gaps will give you the competitive advantage. So if I summarize that what agentic AI solution can do it can not only analyze the previous historical trends and give you the insight, but it can also give you the recommendation based on your plan. Right? So suppose, for example, your demand is forecasting is X million dollar, and then actually there are definition into your actuals there, then the underlying insight engine can figure it out which are the option or style are going out of the stock, which are the styles going the under stock. And then based on that, you can use your recommendation engines. It can give you the recommendation that whether you should go for a markdown, and if you have to go for a markdown, how much percent of the markdown you should go, what kind of SKU you should go for a markdown. And it can also give you suggestion that if there are any kind of promotion you're running and the item is going under stock or over stock, then how do we reorder or plan your purchase order accordingly. So basically, it will not only give you the recommendation, but it also has the power to act on that. But we also believe that final output we give it into the user hand. So there is a human into the loop approach where all the recommendation can come to the business users. They can take the final call. They can see the impact before execution, and then finally execute. So it will bridge the gap of your planning to the execution. So if I summarize, not only your analyze, not only give you the plan recommendation, it can act on your recommendation and as well monitor those actions and fine tune your further actions. And if you do that, clearly we've seen the impact in terms of the business sales growth. It reduces your inventory turns, and it can reduce your the high inventory and improve your margin. Thanks.